So, you've heard it, you've probably even quoted it. Using no way as way, having no limitation as limitation. And it's everywhere. But here's the thing, many people don't think deeply enough about what it means. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel. Welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast number 381. This is the one about what using no way as way really means. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast. Okay, so here's what a lot of people think using no way as way means. It's most common interpretation. It's the version that you'll hear in like casual martial art classes or martial arts circles, and it's probably the version that you'll hear plastered on social media. Using no way as way means you can do anything. And in addition, having no limitation as limitation means that there are no rules because Jeet Kune Do is all about freedom, right? Well, not quite. Because if that was true, if Bruce Lee was really saying, well, just do anything, then Jeet Kune Do would have been over the moment that he said it. There'd be no training structure, there'd be no refinement process, there'd be no path for growth as a martial artist or even as a human being. But Bruce Lee was about refinement. If I use modern day nomenclature, he was about refinement through testing, through experience, right? Bruce Lee was about removing what wasn't working for you. So years ago at a Daniel Lee seminar here in Florida, I think we were in Fort Myers. So he and I were talking about this particular thing, and he offered a slightly different take, which was using no fixed way as way. And if you think about it, that starts to get closer because Bruce Lee, like I said a couple of weeks ago, Bruce Lee was rebelling against the rigidity or his perceived rigidity of traditional martial arts. So he wasn't saying have no way as way. He was saying don't lock yourself into a fixed way. Many years after that conversation with Daniel Lee, I kind of came up with my own version, which is using no single way as way. Because for me, that strikes the balance between freedom and direction. Because when you leave the phrase as it is, using no way as way, then some people assume that that means using every way or using any way as way. But Jeet Kune Do isn't about mixing everything together and hoping that it works. Jeet Kune Do is not like a buffet of martial arts techniques. So it's not about using all ways. It's about not being trapped into using any one way. And again, we talk about this all the time. It's not about adopting, it's about adapting. So if we go back to the Jeet Kune Do symbol itself, right? I don't think Bruce Lee chose those phrases just because they sounded cool, or do I? All right. In any case, he took care to embed those phrases into the emblem of Jeet Kune Do. And we know that the yin yang in Chinese characters, right? The Chinese characters around the yin yang, that's what they say. No way is way, having no limitation or limitation. The yin yang symbol itself, that emblem, isn't about chaos, it's about balance. It's dynamic interaction between opposing forces. So Bruce Lee was pointing to that dynamic interaction. Balance, right? Because you have structure, but you also have freedom within that structure. So it's responsive and it's alive, but it's not really random. It's not like chaotic or what have you, okay? So against all odds, right? Jeet Kune Do, it's not a melting pot of styles, right? It's not mixed martial arts, and it's not even or not either an invitation to do what feels cool, right? Jeet Kune Do, we talk about personal liberation and what have you, but the thing about that personal liberation is that it doesn't take place. It cannot take place right at the beginning. That personal liberation comes through discipline and practice over a period of time. That's what leads to refinement. So it's not about collecting techniques, it's about discovering what works for you over time, and to paraphrase Mark Black, under pressure. So that's why, for me, using no single way speaks more truthfully, because you're not after everything, you're kind of after what matters for you as an individual. And if there really was no way in Jeet Kune Do, then Jerry Poteet wouldn't have had his way, Dan Inosanto wouldn't have had his way, and Ted Wong certainly would not have had his way. So there are ways, there is freedom. But notice that those three individuals that I mentioned, that freedom, that personal liberation took place after spending a lot of time with Bruce Lee. So the next time that somebody drops that quote on you using No Way as Way, ask them what they think it really means. Because whereas quoting Bruce Lee is easy, understanding Bruce Lee, well, that's a different thing. That's a thing that takes study, it takes practice, and it takes a little bit of rebellion. And I'm going to tell you something about that. You want to be very careful. When I tell you it takes a little bit of rebellion, you want to be very careful, because there are some in Jeet Kune Do who use no sense as sense. Okay? So what say you? Did today's broadcast, did it help you to see things a little bit differently? Do you even disagree with what I'm saying? Because if you do, that's great, because then we could talk about that, because that's part of the process. So let me know in the comments below, because that's all I am going to say in this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. Coming up on Friday at 6 p.m., the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues will be with Peter Easterlind of Coastal Gung Fu and Boxing Club. So that'll be 6 p.m. and on Friday. Okay, so I'm going to cut this short because we are having some technical difficulties. I'm pretty sure that even though it says live for me, it's not live for anybody else. And we weren't able to connect to the YouTube either. So I got to go do a whole lot of work in post-production. Today, by the way, is a black and white or gray day. So I thought I'd use that one. Very apropos. Okay, so this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will talk soon. Take care.